yes, I've
Yes, I
been to
need to
pain,
pay.
and yes, I've
Yes, I
been to
need to
jail.
pay.
Jah
Jah
protected me on
protected
the
me on
way
the
to my
way to my
journey,
journey.
so I could stand
So I
up
could
one
stand
day
up
and
one day
say,
and say, the
Rama,
Dharma
Rama,
Rastaman,
the drama,
Dharma
Rastaman,
Rastaman,
the drama,
Dharma
Rastaman,
Rastaman,
the drama,
Dharma
Rastaman,
Rastaman,
the drama,
Dharma Rastaman,
drama,
Dharma
Rastaman,
Rastaman,
the drama,
Dharma
Rastaman,
Rastaman,
drama,
Dharma
Rastaman.
Rastaman.
Heartily good people, this is the moment that you all have been waiting for as we now will be placing in the spotlight coming from Kenya, Africa. He goes by the name Nixon Omollo as we
Yeah.
journey in the life of this great reggae artist to reveal some of his story behind his big story. All happening right here on the Fiery Zone, UBC Radio, the sound that binds us together. A pleasant good day to you. How are you doing? What's the energy like? What's the vibes like?
The vibes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, what's the vibes like?
Yeah, the vibes is good, man. The vibes is good. Yeah, positive vibration all around. Feeling good out here in Kenya, you know. Good weather, friendly people. Very nice to be home. Yes, I.
Right, and of course, we want to say again, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule in allowing us to join you in the life of yourself, revealing some of the stories behind your big story to help
Yeah.
understand the culture of reggae music coming from Kenya, the motherland
Yes,
itself,
I.
Africa.
Yes.
Once again, welcome.
Thank you very much. Very happy to be here. Yes, I. And I give thanks for giving me this opportunity to share my story and to share the story of my people and the music. Yes.
Amazing. Reggae,
Yes.
the heartbeat,
Mm.
the music
Yes.
of the sufferer, the music
Yes,
that
I.
the masses could definitely identify, could relate to, a music that keeps us alive.
Yeah.
As Bob Marley quite referred it to in his song, when it hits you, you feel no pain. Reggae
Yes.
music.
The King's music.
Nixon
Yeah.
Omollo. As
Yes, I.
always, we always
Yes.
want to go back into time as to
Mhm.
find out how it all began, how it all started for you as an individual, getting yourself involved in this wonderful genre called reggae
Mm.
music. In the
Mm.
beginning, what happened, how it started. Walk through
Well,
us, your journey.
in the beginning, there was the roots, you know. In my roots, as Nixon Omollo, there was musicians before me, you know. I'm from a tribe called Luo, and this tribe is the same. The person that's very popular that people know about that's from this tribe is Obama, the former president. He's from this tribe called Luo. His father was from a tribe called Luo, so I'm from that same tribe. And we have I used to have an uncle who used to play traditional instruments, you know. And so as I grew up, I used to see him playing this traditional instrument called Orutu among the Luo people. He used to play that, and he also used to play guitar, you know. So he gave me that musical ear when I was still very young because I used to listen to him. But unfortunately, he passed away when I was still young, when I was still very young, because he was a teenager when he passed away, maybe early 20s when he passed away. And so I had that musical roots in me already. And even before him, there were people who used to play instruments in my lineage. And so when we were growing up now in Nairobi, Kenya, which is the capital city, there used to be only one radio station. I'm an old school guy, you know. So there used to be only one radio station and one TV station during the time of a presidency of a president called Moi, which was kind of a dictatorship. So there used to be only that one TV station and that one radio station, so that he could use that to control the masses, really, you know, because there was no other source of information you only had to listen to that, and that's all you knew. And all those stations were praising him, you know. But then there was one thing that was different about that radio station. There used to be a program called Reggae Time on Sundays. I remember very well. On Sundays at 2 p.m., there used to be a show called Reggae Time. And I used to look forward to that because that's the only program in the entire radio programs that used to do something different, because everything else was related to the president. But this station used to play Reggae Time on Sundays at 2 p.m. And that's when I got introduced to reggae, roots reggae artists like Bob Marley, like Peter Tosh, you know, the Wailers. I used to listen to Black Uhuru. I used to listen to UB40, you know, Gladiators, Jacob Miller, you know, all the reggae greats from the Caribbean, but also from Africa. Yeah, from Africa, there used to be a South African legend. He's a legend called Lucky Dube. Yeah, from South Africa. I used to listen to him a lot on another one called Alpha Blondie from Cameroon, Ivory Coast, I think. Uh, Alpha Blondie. So this music, it really impacted me, you know, because the first thing I realized was that I was growing up in the ghetto, you know, and under that pressure of the dictatorship that I just talked about. And this music was freeing. It was freeing to me because it was bringing me information from outside. And I realized that these people were in the Caribbean, thousands and thousands of miles away, singing from the ghettos, and they're singing their stories, and their stories match my own story, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's how I realized that this is the truth, because they cannot be talking something that's happening to them so many miles away. They don't know me. And yet, what they're saying is what I'm going through right here in Kenya, you know, thousands and thousands of miles away. So that's what really attracted me to reggae music, because it was reality. They were speaking the truth, and they were also making me proud to be who I am, just as the way I am as a black man, as a black kid growing up. You know, they gave me that sense of pride that it's okay to be black, and it's okay to be proud to be black, you know, because those are the things they were singing about, you know. So as I kept growing up, I just had that vibration in me. And I used to sing those days where I used to go to church, you know, not anymore, things changed, but I used to sing. And so I had developed a kind of a singing voice, but I never took it seriously. Yeah. But
Amazing. Now, before you go any further,
yeah.
listeners, you heard Nixon Omollo mention that it was only one radio station in Kenya back in that
Mm,
time, and
yeah.
only Sunday reggae was played. Now, you would have
Mm,
had your own traditional music coming from Kenya.
mhm.
As a young boy, what would have still inspired you to wanting to pursue reggae in particular?
Reggae in particular, the traditional music that used to, because you're growing up in the city and not in the country. If you're in the country, you'll hear a lot of traditional music, you know. But in the city, we only had what the radio was playing, which was mostly like patriotic songs for the president and the government, you know, things just to keep your mind in that level. But the thing that stood out to me about reggae is that it brought something else. The only kind of music I listened to during those days were music from the church, and then music from, sometimes we would hear music from South Africa, songs about
Mm.
freedom from apartheid and things like that, and uh, and reggae. And reggae is what got my attention so much because of the vibration, you know, the sound and what they were speaking, and it just made me feel comfortable, you know. It just made me feel comfortable to listen to it, and it gave me strength and inspiration that even though I'm in the ghetto myself, one day if I apply myself, people will be hearing my voice as well, and I'll be telling my story like I am today. Yeah, man.
Now, one could imagine that the amount of greenery you would have found in Africa, natural resources. It's all a naturality coming from Africa.
Yeah.
Now, when you sing reggae music, what are some of those natural features around you as a person which help uplift you, inspire your music? Because it's evident the listeners heard your music and the
Mhm.
consciousness it's
Yeah.
rooted. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
man.
So it'd be quite
Yeah.
interesting to hear what are some of the things that surrounds you in your own environment that would have inspired the lyrics that we hear coming from Nixon Omollo.
Yeah, the growing up in Nairobi, you will experience a lot, because it's a busy city and it's a very fast-paced city. And so there are pockets of places where you can find good nature, like nature. There's the coast where there's the ocean. There's places where there's forests and there's a lot of this game reserves for animals, wild animals. So there's places with serenity for sure. But where my music came from and my inspiration is from Nairobi. And Nairobi is the capital city. And it's the ghetto, really. That's where my inspiration comes from because of the experiences. So when I sing a song like Who I Am, it's me saying that I have no desire to change myself for anything or anyone, and nobody can push me over because of the experiences that I've gone through that have grounded me to be stable as who I am. Yeah, and many, many, many other experiences just growing up in Nairobi. Even though I go to, like I shared with you earlier, I am from Nairobi, Kenya, but I reside in the US. Right now I'm in Kenya, but I reside in the US. But when I go to the US, I am still a Nairobi man. I'm still a Kenyan man. That never changes. And that's what inspires all my songs. Just the fact that I grew up in hardship in Nairobi, Kenya, and the experiences that I went through and I saw other people going through. So most of my songs are very inspirational songs because I know what it takes to overcome obstacles. So I sing songs to encourage other people who are in the same situation as me to just be strong and to not compromise who they are and to keep pushing on and being strong and overcome whatever it is that they're going through. Yeah.
Understanding the spiritual side of the music, I think it's
Mm.
quite important. You know what I mean? Because
Yes.
quite often we have music and it touches our life. It brings
Yes.
in feeling, it creates
Hmm.
moods,
Hmm.
etc.
Yeah.
Now, your livity as a
Hmm.
reggae artist,
Yeah.
what sort of spirituality, where do you get that spiritual connection that you are able to put into your music and we the listeners could feel or feed off that energy that when we listen to a song by Nixon Omollo, we could feel a good feeling, a good vibration. We are trying to understand the spiritual side of the music. Walk us through that journey.
Yes. There's a song called I'm a Rastaman that you just played by me. And that's what I am. Like when I was influenced by those great singers, they did not just influence me in singing or writing songs. They influenced me spiritually by what they were saying, and they were leading me to a certain path. And when I walked along that path, I realized that these people were speaking the truth, you know. They were speaking the truth because if you just talk about the levity is of health, like taking care of your body and mind. And and living in peace and harmony with yourself, with other people, and with nature, you know. And that is my life. I do not drink alcohol. In fact, I used to drink, but in 10 years or so, when I became strong in this path, for 10 years I haven't touched alcohol, you know, because I just realized it's messing up the spiritual path that I wanted to be on. You know, I don't eat meat, you know, and there's just things that if you learn from the Rasta people, they will make your life so much easier because you'll be in harmony with nature, with other people, and with yourself. So even when you write songs, they will come from that place of spirituality. And that place is within everybody, you know. Some people are just not aware of it. But if they listen to somebody who is singing those kind of songs from that place, then they will feel it. They will feel it that this person is singing from that place, even though themselves they're not living that life, you know, because it really is the truth, you know. And part of the Rasta teachings is about Ethiopia, you know, and his imperial majesty. And for me, I felt like Jah gave me a ride. That's what I sing in that song called Ethiopia. I say, Jah gave me a ride to Ethiopia so I could see it for myself, you know. And when I arrived, I felt so alive, you know. That's what I sing in that song. Because I went and to Ethiopia, and I lived there for 1 year from 2016 to 2017. And Ethiopia is the only country in Africa that was never colonized, you know. So you feel really what Africa really should be, what the whole of Africa should be, or how it could have been if no Europeans came to colonize and to put on their culture, to impose their culture upon Africans and make them forget about their own culture, you know, because the effect of that is felt to this day, you know. But when I went to Ethiopia, I found people living authentic African lives, you know. And so that is the most spiritual thing to me, you know, because it pointed me directly to myself. It made me feel my Africanness, if you want to say that. It made me feel my Africanness for real. And so that's something that I take with me everywhere, you know. And so I just thank Jah for that experience, because it pointed me to myself, you know. And my journey through life, through music, all led me to that place. It led me to Ethiopia. And so
Nixon
my
Omollo,
spirituality, yeah,
take us back into the classroom
the
when you
classroom.
sat down as a young boy,
Mm,
trying to balance off your love and passion for music with
mm,
your education. How
mm.
difficult was it to do that?
Well, my passion for music, well, it was not encouraged. Let me say that. It was not encouraged when I was growing up. When I was growing up, a lot of the musicians that we will hear about were into drugs and things like that, and they were known to be promiscuous, so to speak. So no parent would encourage their kid to be involved in music, and even if they saw that kind of talent, they will just steer you in a different direction. So it was the same case for me. I used to want to play the guitar. I would see guitar on the shops and just stick there and try to get my parent to buy me one, but it never happened, you know. But part of it was them protecting us. But in so doing, they were suppressing a natural talent that one has. But if you have a natural talent, it's somewhere there within you. It cannot be uh, it cannot be blocked or covered over forever. So for me, when I just knew that I wanted to do music, but and when I really knew it for sure was when I saw Gregory Isaacs when I was
Mm.
16 years old. When I was around 16 years old, he came to Kenya and performed at a place called Carnival Grounds. And I went and saw Gregory Isaacs live, and that thing changed my life because I saw this legend that I was listening to on the radio for all these years. And then I saw him live and I saw how the crowds were reacting, and I knew that I wanted to do that. And so later on, when I went to the US for college in 2002. And that's when I knew I was free to do what I want. And I knew I was gonna do music. So that's when I
Mm.
got my first paycheck. I bought a guitar and I
Mm.
started playing. And that's when I remembered my uncle Sylvester, because my uncle who used to play musical instruments, because I could feel like I was channeling his energy, even though he's been gone for so long. But I
Mm.
was just playing guitar, like it just came so naturally to me. I felt like somebody was guiding my fingers, you know.
Right.
Yeah, so it came so naturally to me. That's why I knew this thing has been sitting there for the longest time, you know. So I started playing guitar,
Mm.
and during that time, I did have a lot of problems balancing college studies, college studies and music, because this passion was taking over my body and soul and everything, my
Mm.
passion in music. And I was playing at coffee shops. I started writing, and I had a brother there who just heard me playing for the first time, and he said, "Man, you got something going on, man. You got something going on."
Mm. Mm.
And the more I played for people, the more they encouraged me. And
Right.
so I did have a hard time balancing my education and music at that time,
And
because
that's
it was
because of
just
the
so
passion, I
powerful.
suppose, you had for music. Now, earlier on, you mentioned that
Mm,
reggae music, in particularly, was not encouraged.
mm.
Now, we are trying to understand: is it because of the lyric content that was coming from those reggae, or was it because it was affiliated to Rastafari? What is your understanding back in that time? It was the reason why it probably was not encouraged for young person to listen to that sort of music, which is reggae.
Yeah, so reggae music, first of all, there's that concept of Rastafari. And as I said, Kenya was colonized, you know.
Mm.
Kenya was colonized by the British. And along with
Mm-hmm.
that came with colonization of the mind, so people
Mm-hmm.
believe in white Jesus, as their savior. And so when you talk about Rastafari, you're already making enemies, you know. People think you're crazy already. When you have dreadlocks like this,
Mm.
especially during those days, the police will just come for you. They'll just plant ganja on you and you're gone, you know, especially during those days. Nowadays, people have dreads and it's okay. So those two things, Rastafari, the name Rastafari, and ganja, because people knew that reggae was associated with ganja, Rasta was associated with ganja. So the parents would think that if you're into reggae music, automatically you'll start doing you'll start smoking ganja and get into other drugs, because they call it a gateway drug, whatever. So those are the two things that caused a lot of parents not to encourage, or even the community at large, to be so
Mm.
much against reggae music in particular. Yeah.
Now, despite of all the obstacle, the oppression that you would have faced as a young man growing up in Kenya, but still pushed on, still
Mhm.
continue pursuing reggae music. Upon
Yeah.
leaving school, What life presented to you? How did you journey along the music? How did it unfold after leaving school?
Yes, so when I was doing when during school when I was having troubles balancing school and music, I
Mm-hmm.
just kept playing music. And then eventually after finishing school, I could have done much better than I did. But
Mm-hmm.
music did its part to to prevent that from happening. But I started playing with bands, you know. At this time I was living in Chicago. I played with a band called Nixon Omollo and the Survivors, you know. So these people, they were blues musicians mostly. They
Mm.
played blues guitar, but they were also into reggae. So, and they were older musicians, so they were more mature and they knew reggae, and so they welcomed me, and they just did so much to help me gain confidence and know the art of playing in a band, because that's something different than just
Mm.
playing solo in in coffee shops and things like that. So they encouraged me, and they showed me the art of playing and
Mm.
performing, in front of large crowds of people and things like that. So that band, Nixon Omolo and the Survivors. So the band is called the Survivors. They were very instrumental in my development. And so we kept playing with them for a while. And then I moved away from there to Connecticut.
Now,
And
even before you get to Connecticut,
mm,
we want to understand that transition from migrating from Kenya into the United States. Heritage that
yeah,
you grew up in Nairobi, Kenya,
yeah,
and now
yeah.
you've moved to United States. There is a big difference in terms of
Big,
its
big
culture.
difference. Yes,
There's a big difference in a number of things. How were you
yes.
able to say the transition? Walk us through that.
Uh,
And how
it,
were you able to fit in as a person coming from Kenya?
it was not easy. It was not easy at all because I'm a family man. I love my family so much in Kenya, and that's why I keep coming back every year since I went to the US in 2002, you know. And so I missed my family a lot. That was one thing. And then the school where I went to was in a place called Holland, Michigan, and it was very non-diverse. Like I was maybe out of thousands of students, there was less than 10 black people in there.
Mm,
So I was not used to, because I'm from Kenya, I'm used to seeing black all around me,
mm,
black all
mm.
around me. And then all of a sudden you're in a place where you see white all around you.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't easy, it wasn't easy. And the language, the way people speak, the way they interact, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with white people. I've very many good white friends, but it's
Mm,
just a cultural difference that was
yeah.
very difficult for me to uh, to get used
Adapt.
to
Mm,
adapt to. Yes, and even
mm,
just physical things like snow. I had never seen snow in my life. You know,
mm,
I had never felt that kind of cold in my life, and yet when I went there, the job that I went there late. There were some issues during
mm,
immigration, and I went there late, and so it so happened that the job that I could get was shoveling snow for the residential building that I lived in. So I had never seen snow before, but I had to shovel it for hours every day, in the
mm.
cold. Yeah. So other than just cultural shocks, there are also physical things there that were just shocking to my entire system. So it definitely wasn't an easy transition. Yeah, but
Right.
yeah,
Your
like I said,
arrival now in Connecticut, United States of America. How was that like for you? You now moved to another state, and
yeah, yeah.
you
So
you found yourself in Connecticut.
Yeah, which is where I reside now.
Mm.
So there now I have a band called it's called Noah's Ark Band, and Noah is acronym for Nixon Omollo African Heritage. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. So that's where Noah comes from, and it's been a good ride since I went to Connecticut actually, because we are close to New York and we are close to Boston, which are two big cities, and we get to play in those places a lot. And so it's been a very good experience since I moved there. Mm.
Thank you so much for that. My name is Fonso Black, and I'm talking to singer reggae artist Nixon Omollo
Mm.
from Kenya, Africa. Currently reside in Connecticut, United States of America. We'll be going for a song break, and when we come back, Nixon will be telling us the inspiration, the meds behind that song. And the song in the background, it's called Eternal Fire by the artist. Right here on UVC Radio, the sound that binds us together.
This sugar is listening to representing for Fonso Black on UBC Radio. Keep it locked.
Roots and culture, roots and culture. God on fire, burning fire. My desire just to inspire. God on fire, burning fire. My desire just to inspire. Wake up from your slumber and walk a little harder and climb up the ladder and even if you blunder, it's a learning process. Life is not always a bed of roses. Profits and process. Live what you sow, so be conscious of your choices. People always talk, don't be moved by the noises. None of their business, but they stick in their noses. Walk what you talk, just be true to your conscience. Solid as a rock, life's about patience. Knows that you know one day will be open. No one can lock another jar has opened. What you put together just cannot be broken. Man on fire, burning fire. My desire just to inspire. Man on fire, burning fire. My desire just to inspire.
Hey y'all, it's Kid Just out in the fiery zone, chilling with Fonso Black on UVC Radio, the one and only. That's what's up, fam.
Positive, what you get is what you give. Just keep on trying it, never stop believing it. Always keep a smile on your face, never negative. Violence is killing it, even when it's punitive. Self-control is a sign of maturity. Sit down and talk like civilized human beings, guided by the Trinity, Holy Spirit, invisibility. No one can see it. Life is infinity, life has no limits. Art is an entity with its feelings. Destructive human beings living in it. Selfish men are busy destroying it. System full of sorcerers, but I am a conqueror. Chanting them down, I'm a soul adventurer. Not a beginner, yo, I am a veteran. Calm and center, no retreat, no surrender.
Yeah, me know you be here, radio. Fans of that.
Not on my agenda. Remember your man is January to December. It's on fire, burning fire. My desire just to inspire. It's on fire, burning fire. My desire just
It's now 6 minutes past the hour of 8 in the evening, and you're listening to the voice of Nixon Omollo. The title track is called Eternal Fire. Welcome back again. My name is Fonso Black, and I'm placing in the spotlight singer reggae artist from Kenya, Nixon Omollo. Welcome
Yeah.
back,
Thank
Nixon.
you, thank you. Yeah.
The song, Eternal Fire. We heard
Yeah,
it, you know
man.
what I mean? What was the
Yeah, man.
meds behind that song? I love it, you know what I mean? I like the message. I love the music to it as well. I suppose
Mm.
you probably have used live instrumentalists to when you recorded that song. So again, Talk to us about that song, Eternal Fire.
Well, Eternal Fire, I to this day I read the Bible, from the church background, and I remember Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, when they were placed in the fire to get burned. The only thing that burned were the ropes that were used to tie them. But these men were not burned, you know. And so that happened to them because they refused to bow to Nebuchadnezzar, the king, the idols that the king had told them to bow to. But they refused because they knew the true God, And so this fire is not a normal fire, because if it was a normal fire, they also would have been consumed along with the ropes. But this fire is a different kind of fire. It burns only the things that bind people, only the chains that bind people, So this is the kind of fire that I'm talking about in that song. That's why I sing eternal fire, burning higher forever, because it's eternal. And my desire is just to inspire, And it's only through this eternal fire that I'm able to do this or anything. It's the breath of life. Yeah. That was the
That's quite
inspiration
profound
behind this
there.
song.
Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
Production.
Mm.
Back in Kenya, your
Yeah.
first opportunity walking through the gates of a studio. How difficult or how easy was it? Because we heard of stories that quite a few artists would have had very challenges, even to walk through the gates of studios to record. Your experience having gone through the gates of recording studios, what was that like for you, Nixon?
For me, like I said, I started recording music here not here in Kenya, but in the US. But I know that it was difficult for people, especially during the time that I was growing up. The musicians were not that many anyway. It wasn't. It used to be specific places that you go to record. Nowadays, because of technology, there are so many producers who have home studios where people go to record. But during those days, it was just a few studios that were known. And so it was almost like a monopoly. And you have to be at the very top of your game to go out there to record. And even then, it was so much, it was a lot of difficulty because, first of all, the musicians didn't have that much money. And then to go down there to record, you have to have your things, like the methods of recording was live. And you remember, like, the Malays used to record live and they used to practice so much because you have to go there with your stuff already perfect, so that you're paying for studio time. And if it's 1 hour, you make sure that you do it in 1 hour and you're out and your music is perfect already, So that's how it used to be. And there were also a lot of stories of people getting ripped off, like the money that they pay. Sometimes the music is not produced well. So I think there were just so many challenges that I used to hear from other people who did that. But for me, I started recording when I went to the US. That's when I started
And what was that
putting.
experience like for you the first time you walked through the doors of a professional studio?
It was a very good experience. It was actually somebody, a reggae artist that I had gone to see from a place called Kalamazoo. He was performing in the town that I was living in, called Holland, Michigan, and I went to see him. And then, as they were performing, I went and talked to the lead singer and asked him if I could sing something, and he gave me the opportunity. He was a very nice, nice Rasta man, and he just gave me the opportunity to perform. And I performed an original song, but because by that time I was playing guitar, and people had encouraged me, so I'd started gaining confidence. And so he gave me the opportunity to get on stage, and I just sang a song, and people really liked it, and they clapped for me. And then later on, the drummer in that band was the person who used to record that band. So he told me to go to his place in Kalamazoo to record. And so that was that was my first studio experience, and it was mind blowing because it was the first time I heard my music, but hearing my own voice coming from the speaker, you know, and that was just a life changing moment, you know, and
Yeah. Yeah.
somebody really seeing the potential in you and wanting to make you grow, you know. And so
Right.
yeah, the man is called Preston. To this day, we are very good friends. Preston, wherever you are, big up yourself. You did so much for me, man. But he recorded a whole let me say an EP. So yeah, so I can't say I was very ready at that time, but at least he recorded something for me that I could listen to and know how I sound, and then from there I was able to develop myself. Yeah, that was
By
my
that time
first
in the
studio experience.
studio, were you quite confident or you were a bit wobbly, a bit shaky? That
To
first
be honest,
experience.
I was still a bit shaky. I was still a bit shaky, but that was a step that I needed to
Mm,
go through. Yeah, it was a step that I
mm,
needed to go through, and just the ability to listen to your voice coming from
mm,
speakers for the first time, it makes a difference because you don't sound the way you think you sound if you've never heard yourself from speakers and from headphones, so to speak, you know. So that he gave me that first experience. Yeah. Mhm.
And what is that message that you always try to convey to the masses out there through your music, Nixon Omollo?
It's always uh, to be strong, because like I said, I didn't I grew up in a ghetto, you know, and life is
Mm,
not easy there. Life is not easy. I've gone through a lot myself.
mm,
I grew up with an alcoholic father. My father passed away when I was 15, you know.
mm,
And so there were so many challenges. Before I knew the spiritual path, I went through so much that led me to that path. I spent days in jail, you know, as a teenager, locked up
mm,
in a filthy place with over 50 people in a small space with a bucket in the corner, you know. This is real life I'm talking about. And there are Kenyans out there who know exactly what I'm talking about when I say that. When I talk about addiction to alcohol, there are so many Kenyans who know exactly what I'm talking about. So the fact that I've been able to overcome all that, to overcome the life of being caught and thrown in jail, and overcoming alcohol, something that I thought I would never overcome. Because to be honest, my father had 10 siblings and all of them passed away, and it can all be traced to alcohol. So it's something that's in my bloodline, you know. So I
mm,
felt at some point that it's like a curse that I cannot get rid of, because
mm,
as much as I tried, I could not. I had the desire, you know, but I could not get rid of this demon called alcoholism. And bad things happen sometimes for a good reason, because even when I was in the US, I got caught with a driving under the influence, you know, and I was thrown in a jail cell again, and I went through a whole year of probation. I'm telling this story real, so people know that I've gone through it all, you know. And so I had to go to the police station every day to be tested, you know, to be tested to make sure that I'm not drinking. And if they caught me with alcohol in my system, then I'll be thrown in jail, you know. So I could not, because I value my freedom, I could not do that. And somehow in the process of that, my desire for alcohol disappeared. And once it disappeared, I never wanted to touch alcohol again. And even today, just the smell of it, it doesn't even, I hate it. Let me just put it that way. So I'm sharing a real life story just to say that all these things are challenges that I know people are facing and out there. And it's not only in Kenya, everywhere. There are addictions. There are people who have so many other issues, but there is nothing that a human being cannot overcome. You know, there's nothing that a human being cannot overcome. And so my songs, if you listen to them, they're just songs that tell people to stand firm, to be who they are, to not compromise who they are, and to just keep pushing on, or in whatever you're doing, to just keep pushing on so you can achieve it, and to know that you have the ability to overcome anything that you feel that you cannot overcome. You have that eternal fire within you that can push you to achieve the impossible. Yes, that's my inspiration behind the songs.
Thank you so much for that, Nixon Omollo. Now, do you think you have a responsibility as a reggae artist as it relates to the sort of lyrics that we hear coming from your songs that later on could have a impact on the wider community? What is your take on that? Are you agreeing
Yeah,
that you have a responsibility to be mindful of the sort of
definitely.
lyrics that's coming from your music? And if you're agreeing, why are you agreeing to it?
Yes, I definitely agree that I have a responsibility because nobody forced me to do this. It's a feeling that I had that I need to do this, you know. It's a feeling that came from within. And this feeling is of consciousness, you know. And this consciousness, it does not mix with negativity, you know. So I feel like it's something that was put in me so that I can inspire people in a positive way. And that is my responsibility. Because there are so many people out there who have the youth, they're influenced very easily by what they hear and what they see. And even I, just in the neighborhood that I grew up in, I saw many different people lose their lives at very young ages because they succumbed to what they were seeing in their environment, you know, what they were hearing in some of the music and what they will see on maybe on TV that made them feel like, and especially in Kenya, you'll find that there's so many commercials that glorify the drinking of alcohol and things like that. And when I see that, it just makes me sick because these people know that they're influencing young people to get into this lifestyle. And even the music videos that you see, they influence people to there's no people are not responsible in what they present out there because they influence people into negative ideas that will later cause people to go astray in their lives. And so for me, I want to do the opposite. I want to do the opposite by showing people the right path, living living by example of walking the narrow path where not many walk, but it's the right way. And so my responsibility in music is just to bring people closer to Jah, closer to this path, that I know is right, and that will lead people to the right way of living, the levity. Yes, I.
Well said. Let's now turn our attention to the sound system.
Mm.
The sound system has always played a major role in the development of reggae music. It's been used as a vehicle to spread the music through the wider community and internationally by extension. Now, to understand the sound system is to now invite Nixon Omollo to tell us his experiences on the sound system coming from Kenya. Over to you, the sound system. What it's like in Kenya.
Yeah, in Kenya, I think when I was growing up, there used to be a sound system culture, you know. But nowadays, it seems like it's a disappearing thing. It's not very prevalent. There used to even the time when I used to hear about so and so sound system, there were not many of them, you know. Most of the reggae that people listen to in Kenya, you'll find it in clubs. So it's like DJ music, you know. DJ music is where many people will get that reggae influence and reggae music in Kenya. But the sound system culture is not the times that there were not very many. There were just a few that people knew about. And then nowadays I don't even hear about them anymore. But I think that it's a very important part of reggae culture and reggae music, because this sound system is where you'll find a person who was unknown yesterday, who is known by everybody tomorrow, you know, because that culture allows somebody to just get on the mic, you know, and share something spontaneously. And in the process, people know that, oh, this guy has some talent, and then they encourage him to keep going. And so many people who are not able to hit the studio, you know, people who are not able to go to a producer to produce their songs, they have this other avenue called sound system, where they can still showcase their talents and grow musically in a different way. And I think that's how a lot of artists, many artists in Jamaica also got their way into reggae, into reggae popularism. Let me say that, like, people got to know them because of sound culture. Yeah, so I think it's something that needs to come back definitely in Kenya and in all other places that are into reggae music. Yes, I.
And why do you think that there has not over the years been a high presence of sound system in Kenya?
I think they were just overpowered by the influence of the DJs, by the influence of DJ music. Yeah, they were just overpowered by that. Maybe that seemed to bring more money. The DJ, I'm not very sure, but I think they were overpowered by people wanting more of DJ music than sound system culture. You know, so it was just like a place to go dance as opposed to a place to go listen to people doing things spontaneously, you know. So the predictability of DJ music, I think the familiarity of it and the predictability, people were into that more than the spontaneity of sound system culture. And so that made it die out. Yeah. But like I said, I think it's something that should come back. Mm.
Thank you so much. Listeners,
Mm.
Nixon Omollo, since he
Mhm.
moved to United States of America, he
Mhm.
also put together his own reggae band. He has
Mhm.
also a band in Kenya as well. Now,
Mhm.
one could only imagine, and of course, it's evidence that Nixon Omollo really do appreciate live music. Now,
Yeah.
from an artist perspective, why is it important for you to perform with a live band as opposed to uh, a backup track? What is the difference? You know what I mean? Because you would have had the experience performing along a live band. What are your take on that?
Yeah,
What is
it's
the energy that you receive from the live band that you are not able to get from soundtracks?
this is reggae music. You gotta have live, like there is just something about reggae music. It's the heartbeat, you know. You can't play the heartbeat on a soundtrack and expect it to be the same. The heartbeat has to come from the heart and you have to hear it live. So reggae music especially, maybe I've seen people do hip hop and its tracks and it's okay, but for reggae music, for it to be authentic, if it's when it comes to performance, it has to be live instruments for people to feel the real vibration. If you're a real musician, if you have the ear for music, you want to hear the bass playing separately there, the drums there, you want to hear the keys, the guitar, the vocals separately, the backup vocals, and then the harmony of all that coming together. That's what makes reggae music special. And so if you have just a track that puts all those components coming from one place and it's not live, it's something that's recorded, then it cannot give you that authentic reggae feel. So that's why I feel that reggae music especially has to be, if it's performance, it has to be live instruments and live everything. And that's how I do it.
Lovely,
Mm.
lovely. Talk to us about your band, the name of your band, how many persons consist of the band, and how were you able to put together that band?
Well, here in the US where I play a lot in New York, I the band itself first, the name is Noah's Ark Band. Noah means Nixon Omollo African Heritage. And also Noah, for me, it's that it goes back to the Bible. Noah brought people into the ark, people who were in distress, who were drowning in the flood. And my music is about the same thing. So it's not just a name of a band. My music is about bringing people who are in distress, people who are lost. Come and listen to this vibration. Come and listen to this vibration and see if you'll remain the same. If you listen carefully, you will hear. You see? So Noah's Ark Band, the US one, I have a bass player, I have a drummer, and I have another guitarist, and I also play guitar, and there's another backup singer. And I am from Kenya. The backup singer and the drummer are from Jamaica. The bass player is from Japan, and the other guitarist is from New York, USA. So it's a very diverse group of people, and you all bring a different vibration, and it all comes together in one nice harmony. See? So, and then here in Kenya, when I come to Kenya to perform, I also have a band here, and it's the same name. I just called it Noah's Ark Band Kenya. So for right now, I have a band that consists of two backup singers, female backup singers who have beautiful songbirds. And then you have a bass, keys, another guitarist, and drums. Yeah. So, and for how we met, you asked me how we met also. For the US one, I just put out an advertisement with in one of those online platforms. I put an advertisement with my music, with clips of my music, and a bunch of people reached out to me, and all of them just happened to be the perfect people. And once we played our first rehearsal together, we knew that this was the band. Yeah. So it
Wow.
just happened like that. Yeah, man.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And what's about the one in Kenya? How did you
Well,
pull it up together?
the one in Kenya, one of the backup singers, I've been working with her. Um, I've been working with her for a long time, actually. When I record songs in the US, I ask her to do backup vocals here in Kenya. Then she sends me the track through email, and then I put it together in the US like that. So we've been working together, even though we are distance apart. And so we've been working like that. And then here in Kenya, she had been working with a band here. So she introduced me to some of those band members, and they happened to, when I came, I told her I have a project, and so if she could look for people, and she told me, oh, I already have a band that would love to work with you. And so she put it all together, and they are great musicians. Yeah, great musicians. So we've been rehearsing, and we are playing a show on December 15th. So we've been rehearsing for it, and just looking forward to showing the crowds what we got. Yeah, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing listeners. What an inspire story coming from the artist Nixon
Yeah, man.
Omollo.
Yeah.
At this
Yeah,
point,
man.
my name is Fonso Black, and I'm talking to reggae artists all the way from Kenya, currently reside in the United States of America. Now we'll be going for another song break, and I will be allowing the artist to introduce that song when we come back, and the inspiration behind the song as well, right here on UVC Radio, the sound that binds us together.
Yeah, this is Avalanche. When I'm chilling outside of the UVC radio with Fonso Black. Yeah, Fonso Black standing on a mountain. Mountain. Roots and culture. Roots and culture.
I've got nothing else to give this world other than your time.
Pull it up again. Me, Jabba, tell you that.
You're now in tune to Fonso Black on UBC Radio.
Roots and culture. Roots and culture.
I've got nothing else to give to this world
Drop them the big tune.
other than your time. Came into this world. I've got nothing else to give to this world other than your time. Came into this world. All I have is who I am. All I have is who I am. I've got nothing else to give
on UVC
to
Radio.
this world other than what I came into this world. I've got nothing else to give to this world other than what I came into this world. All I have is who I am. Who I am. All I have is who I am. Who I am. I've got no one else to be in this world other than just I. That's all I came into this world. No one else to be in this world other than just I. That's all I came into this world. All I have is who I am. Who I am. All I have. I live my life on the line sometimes, but I found that fine, 'cause I stuck to who I am. I might be anywhere in the world, but I never drop my guard. I know I have to stick to who I am. And if it's fire, I make it burn tables. I make them turn because it turns out that's just who I am. Sometimes I know I pay the price for messing with the enterprise, but I have to stick to who I am. I made it 2021, and my resolution is just to be who I am.
Welcome back again. I want to shout out to all our viewers on Facebook watching this live interview on Fonso Black Entertainment on Facebook. Thank you so much for joining the live, and we urge persons to share this live interview on all our listeners all across the world, wherever you are. We say thank you so much for tuning into the Fiery Zone as we are talking to singer reggae artist Nixon Omollo, placing him in the spotlight as he reveals some of his story behind his big story, help understanding the culture of reggae music coming from Kenya. In the background, you heard a song. Now, I'm going to allow Nixon Omollo to introduce the song, and he'll be telling us as well the inspiration behind such a meaningful, powerful, inspirational song. Over to you, Nixon Omollo.
Yes, thank you, Fonso Black. Yes. This song is called Who I Am, you know. This song was recorded in 2021. And it was under an EP that I did in, the name of the EP was Good Vibes Return. But this song, Who I Am, sometimes I write songs in retrospect of experiences, because when I first went to the US, I told you about my experiences with the culture shock and being from a different place and experiencing this culture shock. And then I noticed that other people who are not from the US, who are also from maybe other African countries, or even Kenya, that a few that I met, or just other places, they were quick to assimilate to the US culture, and even their way of speaking, their way of doing things, their way of relating to people. But I say to myself, I'm not going to change. I'm going to remain who I am, because that's what makes me unique. That's what gives me strength as a person. That's what gives me inspiration, you know, just to be who I am and to tell my personal story, you know. So I said to myself that I'm not going to change for anybody or anything. I am going to remain as who I am, you know. And so that was the inspiration to that song, Who I Am. Because I say, I've got nothing else to give to this world other than what I came with to this world. And that's the truth for everybody. And anybody who does anything that's contrary to that, they're not being themselves and they're not being authentic, you know. So the inspiration for that song is just to tell people to be who you are, no matter what, no matter where you go, no matter how people try to push you to be something else. You are at your biggest strength as yourself. Yes.
Well said. Now,
Yeah.
for the many people out there who are currently listening to this interview via Facebook on Fonso Black Entertainment and the wider world on the UVC radio, what would be your advice for reggae artists, particularly among the younger persons wanting to become a reggae artist? We've heard your music, we've heard the quality of the songs or the music coming from your songs rather, and it's deeply rooted. What advice would you give to this younger person, allowing them to remain humble, focused, and deeply rooted as yourself? What would you say to them, Nixon Omollo?
First of all, I will say this. You know, when I was in school and they were teaching you physics, or let's say just something like history of physics, they will take you way back to the history of who discovered this and who discovered that, you know. A lot of reggae artists today, they just go into reggae and start singing. I will say first go do your homework. Find out what this music is about. You know, this music is not a joke. This is special music. There's no other music like reggae music. This is the king's music. This is music from the heart, you know. Go and do your homework and find out what this music is. Go and find out who started this music. Why was this music started? Listen to the roots. Listen to all the roots masters, the Bob Marleys, and even find out even what they were playing even before that and how they moved into reggae music, you know. This is what will give you the foundation to do what you're supposed to do as a reggae musician. That is the first step. And then if you have that, you are already on the right path, because it will give you the humility to know that this music is bigger than you, and to not be a proud person, even if you make it or you become famous or whatnot. You know how to handle yourself, you know, because you realize that this music is not about that. It's not about money or fame or anything like that. If you get that, that's fine and it's okay, but it's more than just that. It's special music. Yeah, man. So I would really encourage, especially the young people, to study the story behind the music first and to ground themselves using that knowledge. And then to be humble, because if you really study the music, then you'll know that you need to be humble to be a reggae musician. You know, you need to be humble, and you need to stick to what the music is about. This music is about consciousness. It's about spreading positive vibration and bringing people closer to Jah, the path of righteousness, for lack of other words. And righteousness, I don't mean it in the way that people complicate things in their minds. It's just righteousness just comes from the word of right, just doing the right thing. And within everybody, there is something inside them that tells them what's the right thing to do, you know. So this music encourages you to listen to that voice that tells you what the right thing is to do, because anybody who's doing the wrong thing will try and hide so that nobody knows about it or nobody sees them. But if you're doing the right thing, you're just open and you're honest and you're sincere, So this music is about that. It's about consciousness, and it's about bringing people closer to this path that I'm talking about. Yes. So that's what I would encourage this youth to focus on.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Facebook viewers viewing this live interview on Fonso Black Entertainment. Listeners from UVC Radio from all across the world. This is the moment that you all have been waiting for. He is a reggae artist and is also a guitarist. As we now will be placing in the spotlight Nixon Omollo to give us an a cappella. Now, in Leon, I was hearing some guitar in the background. So, again, Facebook viewers, you are in for a treat. UBC listeners from all across the world, you are in for a big treat. You know what I mean? As we now, again, will be placing singer reggae artist from Kenya, Nixon Omollo, to give us an a cappella alongside with his guitar. Right here on the UBC Radio, the sound that binds us together. Go for it.
I'll play a little guitar here. Vinny, hebu kama nishikeni. Kama nishikie nipechelewa ngoma.
You're in the fiery zone with Fonso Black on UVC Radio.
Hivyo hivyo. Karibu. What are the songs you had there? How long shall we wait, Africa, till we wake up and take our right? How long shall we wait? My people, till we see that we have to unite. How long shall we wait, Africa? Stop the fast and the fight. Shall we wait until we come and take our right? Oh, when shall it dawn upon us? The Lord is forever stand up for us. Why let the people take it from us? Losing everything is colonized as a sea jobless. Drunk in the corners, position the pocket and another bonus. The guardian generation looking back upon us, saying we need it to do something for us. This is what the spirit of this man's call. Something, if not for you, then do it for us. Yeah, how long shall you wait? God, wake up and take our right. How long shall you wait? People to see that we have to imagine.
Amazing. Thank
Yeah,
you
man.
so much. Of course, you've just listened to singer reggae artist out of Kenya, goes by the name Nixon Omollo. Now,
Yes,
if there is a promoter out there who just heard this performance and would like to book you on an event, what is the best
Yeah.
contact to get you on?
Yeah, my contact is just my two names, Nixon Omollo at gmail.com. Yeah, that's my email. Or if they want, my website has all my information that has Facebook contact, Instagram contact, all social media, as well as my phone number and my email. So my website will be the best place, and that is just nixonomollo.com. NixonOmollo.com. That's my website with all my information. Book me.
And of course, if persons out there would like to hear more music coming from Nixon Omollo, what are some of the social platforms that persons could get your music on?
Yes, you can find all my music in all digital platforms. I have at least 20 well-recorded songs out there. And you can find my music on Spotify, just under my name, Nixon Omollo. And on YouTube, everywhere you'll find me as me. So YouTube is also at Nixon Omollo. So all you need to do is just know how to spell my name, and that is Nixon Omollo. And you'll find my music on YouTube, Spotify, all digital platforms.
And what is the next big project that you are currently working on that your fans could expect coming from Nixon Omollo very soon in the future?
Yes, I have some music videos coming out. Right now I have, if my fans go to YouTube, they can find a video for that song, Who I Am. There's another song called Come Together, and there's another song called Peace and Silence, and We Have the Power. Those are 4 music videos that are out there already. But right now I'm working on 3 music videos here in Kenya, and they're gonna be good. One of them is the one that I just performed. It's called How Long Shall We Wait? And another one is called Sellouts, which you just played. And also another one is called East Lando, which is a tribute to the neighborhood where I grew up in Kenya. So 3 music videos, they'll be out very soon. So I'd like my people to just be on the lookout for those on YouTube mostly, yes. But follow me on Instagram and on Facebook, just under the name Nixon Omollo. And my artist page is Nixon Omollo Musician. And there you'll find updates for all this information. And also on my website, nixonomollo.com, you'll find updates for all this information, touring dates, but performance dates, and also projects that I'm working on, like the videos. Mm-hmm.
And just before we come to an end of this very inspiring interview, is there anyone out there you would like to shout out to?
Yes, I would like to shout out first to Nati King Manting from Kenya. I know he's tuned in. Thank you so much for connecting me with Fonso Black. You know, this is a very special moment, and I'd like to just give thanks, because without him, I wouldn't have made this connection. I would just also like to thank all my fans that keep supporting me no matter what. There are people out there who know the real people, you know, and they consider me a real person, and they support me because of that. And for all those people, I just thank you so much. I'd like to thank my family for believing in me and for keeping me humble, and especially my mom, very strong Black woman who has kept me humble. Even with my little success, she has just kept on reminding me that I should just remain myself no matter what. Yes.
Last but not least, you have a show coming up on the 15th of December. I think I've gotten the date right. A bit more information on that for your fans and new fans you made today on this interview. A bit more
Yeah.
information on that event and how persons could access tickets, etc.
Yeah. The show is for the people who are in Kenya. The show is on December 15th at a place called 2G's Lounge in Kirigiti, which is close to Kiambu. So you can just come out there. You don't need to, the entrance is free. Yeah, the entrance is free, so that should not bother you. Just get yourself there. There are so many people who have pledged to come, so we think it's going to be an amazing night. There are so many people who have told me personally that they will be there, and there are also just people who are from there, who are from that area, who normally just go there anyway. And there will be more people because now they know there's a live reggae band playing. So it's gonna be me and 6 other people just playing some good live reggae music, positive vibration. It's gonna be from 9:30 p.m. to 2 a.m. So it's gonna be between us, the live band, and the DJ will be taking whenever we take the break, a DJ will be playing. So it's gonna be going like that back and forth from 9:30 p.m. to 2 a.m. 2G's Lounge, Kirigiti, Kiambu. See you there if you can make it.
And thank you so much, singer reggae artist Nixon Omollo, as he allowed us here at the Fiery Zone to journey into the life of this great singer reggae artist. Don't forget, you could check him out on Facebook, Instagram, and also his music videos on YouTube. Again, the name Nixon Omollo. Thank you so
Yes,
much for passing through right here on the Fiery Zone. UVC
yes,
Radio, the sound that binds us together. We're going to end this one with the title track called Rastaman. Once
yes,
again, big up yourself and big up promoter Natty Kingman thing over there in Kenya.
yeah, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Tell the good people what an inspirational conversation there. Interview with the singer reggae artist coming from Kenya, Nixon Omollo. And of course, persons, he is deeply rooted in his music. So check him out on Facebook, follow him on Instagram, and check out his music videos on YouTube as well. Nixon Omollo from Kenya.